All right, so we are thrilled to welcome to the show Devindra Hardiwar. I'm a huge fan from Engadget, and it's just great to have you on today. How are you doing today, Devindra?
Hey guys, glad to be here. I'm doing well. Just it's getting late in the East Coast, so it's like I'm kind of fading a little.
Don't fall asleep. No. Not yet. Not yet. We've got some things that we want to ask you about. Specifically, one of the things that you've been working on is a very interesting story. You have an article on Engadget about LinkNYC, which is New York City's free gigabit Wi-Fi. It's actually replacing the many payphones throughout the city. You also spoke with the folks behind LinkNYC at CES a few weeks back. Tell us a little bit about your direct experience using this and why it's such a departure for municipal Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so they kicked it off in public beta testing yesterday morning. So I just kind of ran over there to test it out. And yeah, I was getting speeds of around 300 megabits up and down, pretty close to that. And that's insane. That's just crazy, right? That is, I'm paying for a 100 megabit service here at home, so I can talk to you guys with like good streams and everything. And even then, I'm seeing like maybe 60 to 70 at best. And wow. That's 300 megabits. That's what 10 times the national average for broadband. That's just insane. And what's really cool is that this is a free service provided. It's a union by the city and a group called City Bridge New York, which is made up of a couple different companies, including Qualcomm. And it was just New York City a couple of years ago had this idea. They wanted to shut down all the payphones and get rid of them. And they had this idea to modernize it. And this ended up being the project that kind of came forward. And it's amazing to me that this project, they had the idea, they implemented it, they started deploying things in about a year, which is crazy for any like city project. Oh, and I've seen a lot of municipal Wi-Fi, and normally it's like the stuff you get in coffee shops, right? It's very slow. It's really hard to connect to. This is gigabit Wi-Fi. They're running fiber to not every single payphone, but most of the payphones are getting direct fiber connections. That means, you're sharing crazy fast speed. You're sharing a gigabit connection with a ton of people, but even then, you should still be seeing really fast speed. So it's kind of amazing what they're trying to do, and they're paying for all of this with advertising kind of on the units themselves. There are two 55-inch screens on two sides of the unit, and they'll display like all sorts of ads, and they could be moving ads, they could just be still posters. The whole city's gonna be littered with these things. So, and kind of it's gonna add to some of the urban noise and light pollution that we're seeing around. But at the same time, it could be really useful too, because they could put public service announcements on those screens. People could also do all sorts of other things with these links. You could charge your phone. They have USB ports. You just plug it in. They're going to have tablets that you can use for free phone calls using Vonage. Wow. And also for finding directions and things happening in the city. Like, it's just a really useful infrastructure thing, just a great way to communicate with the local community and, offering something that everybody needs more than they need, a payphone.
So what about security or privacy concerns? Are you worried about people, the city or anyone tracking you by using this?
Well, they say, I was reading some earlier comments from them, and it sounded like they may be tracking certain things, but the representatives got in touch with me today and said they're not tracking any traffic. The only thing they get is your MAC address because you're connecting to their network. There's a very long privacy policy that City Bridge put out, and it seems it seems normal. Like, it seems totally fine. We just kind of have to trust that they and the New York City Department of Information Technology are going to kind of abide by that. I think the only thing that I saw that could be kind of weird is that they may be selling some anonymized data based on how people are using the network, but nothing identifiable. And that's the sort of thing a lot of public networks do, and it happens a lot. It happens with advertising as well, free services online. Security-wise, they also offer like a second network on every link that's a private network. And if you're running a Hotspot 2.0 device right now, they're supporting iOS devices and I think some Macs. When you connect to the LinkNYC network, it'll have you get this key, and the key will automatically connect you to the private network, which is fully encrypted end to end. And yeah, they can't see anything there.
The security kind of fear that comes to mind for me actually revolves around the charging ports, because I know, because there's a lot of possibly fear, uncertainty, and doubt around using public charging ports, like let's say at the airport or whatever, that people smarter than me know how to make it so that when you plug your phone in to charge there, it can actually do nasty things to your phone, get in there, install malware, something along those lines. Any fears of that happening when you've got these plastered all over the streets of New York City?
That's definitely a fear. Like, that's actually a good point. I haven't talked to them about that, but I should bring up that point because I do feel like, when you normally see public charging points at like maybe airports and especially conventions and things like that, they're not usually the wisest things to connect to because you don't know who's behind it. You don't know what kind of hardware is behind it. This one, like the hardware looks pretty sturdy. Like I don't think somebody's going to be able to like jack in there and plug in their own circuit board and kind of hijack the USB connection. But I don't know. I have to talk to them to see what they're doing to kind of check on that stuff.
Still, that's very cool. It must be awesome living in the future like that.
It's the future.